Hello, everyone. Today you're going to be looking at the science syllabus. I know it's not like the number one most exciting, fun thing to do of the science year, but it is something we need to go over just to make sure you have everything. If you have me for science and you have me for history, I kind of have both my classes are very similar. I'm going to go over this in science, and then in history you'll see a similar one. I'll just kind of distinguish what the differences are as I go through that. So I'm going to start. I'm in my science Google Classroom, but it looks the exact same in my history. There's an area that says keepers, and in the keepers you've got things that include the weekly assignments, just directions with that. What is some virtual class expectations? What is our syllabus? So in history, would say history syllabus. And then there's a scoring rubric. We use very similar. It's basically the same thing in science versus history, at least if you have me for both of those classes. And then our power standards. So starting with this is just a reminder. So if you were in class, I went over this, but if you're virtual, you're probably like, yeah, kind of know it, kind of not. So looking at the option applies to you, you need to see what matches up. So I've already talked about it with the A through K students and the L through Z. Typically, they've got like day one on in person, day two in person, Wednesday, which is everyone is virtual, and then day one online and day two online. If they are the A through K, they're going to do the day 1 and 2 in person first in class, and then do the day 1 and 2 online second. If they're an L through Z, they're going to work on the 2 online ones first, then Wednesday, and then the 2 in-person ones. If you are fully virtual, though, you're going to follow along with that first group and complete all those assignments that are online. So if there's an assignment attached with it, like this one today with the science syllabus, you're going to need to do this one. There may be some other directions or videos to help support learning on those days. There might also be a few that's like, virtual students, please do this Thursday instead of on this day. So just read those directions at the very top. And what I mean by that with those directions at the top is like if I go to this day 1 cover the space, I've got that right at the top of what you need to do. So then the next things that we've got is the science syllabus. Let's jump to that one. You've got this, and this is what you're answering your survey about. So I'm not going to go over too much. You're going to go through it yourself as well. But this just has all the contact information. It's got the supplies needed. You should have come in and your family should have picked up your history textbook, and then there was science materials in there. You have a bunch of materials. It's not homework yet. I just want you to have those because they're like the really, really, really important keepers. In here, I've kind of got what our daily expectations are, what our units are going to look like in here, what grading is going to look like, how missing work looks. If it's coming in late, you're going to be losing some points on it. If it's getting really late, it's still important to do, but if it's getting past due with the unit, it's just not worth any credit at all anymore. The really important thing I wanted to talk about, and so I've got it with the syllabus here, or if you have me for history, I have it on its own thing, is the scoring guide. So with this, and this is what I really wanted to make sure I made a video with, so this plus, and it's on bright orange paper in your packet that you've picked up, but on here, so it's got that plus check minus sad face 0. Basically, when we're doing homework, it's really important to do that homework, and we want to make sure we do it as well as we can, but that's where you're learning. So if you make a mistake or two, that's okay. This is where you should make mistakes. So if you look over this, a full credit, that's a plus, great job. Your name's on your assignment. The assignment is complete and it's high quality. Few to no missed or guessed answers. Everything is written in complete sentences. Math problem shows work. Information is labeled with units and number. Answers is circled. So this might be like you've got 1 to 2 wrong in general, and you could still get all the points because you really did try. Maybe you did an assignment and you literally couldn't find 2 of the answers. You still tried. You can get all that credit there. I'm more concerned about the effort. Now, if you do it all and you just put frog for everything, don't loophole me and say, what if I write cat? No, if you're just putting random stuff, no, that doesn't count. But if you genuinely have put the best answers you think you can find, and as we go over it, you're like, oh yeah, I did do pretty good. You've got all the points. A check means it's coming in. There's answers mostly in complete sentences. They're mostly easy to find. Problems show most of their work, and the assignment is mostly complete and decent, but it's not like 100% well done, but you really did try. That's where you want to strive for at the least, is that check. A minus is, the assignment is somewhat complete. You've got quite a few that are multiple or missed. And if you look, a minus is an 80%. That's still a pretty good grade. Like, you still did really try. But this is like we're missing kind of some of those key pieces to make it a really good, well done assignment. Sad face is like it's barely done. The writing is barely in complete sentences. Like we can step up our game a bit. And then a 0 is like we didn't even try it. When we get to a lab, it's kind of the same thing. So any labs or projects, we're looking for doing that top-notch work. And again, it's a plus check minus, but there's going to be more points associated with these. So the safety rules were followed, names at the top, the entire lab is done, variables are all identified. We're going to learn about those. Reasonable amount of data was collected with measurements made and accurately and precisely. Data table and graph have all their parts labeled. All parts of the labs are written in complete sentences. So if we're at a check, that plus is like it's top notch. Check is like, you know what, most of these things are done. Almost all the lab write is complete. Most variables are identified. Most things are there. A minus, and remember, minus is an 80%. It's still not the worst, but we want to try and aim for like at least a check mark. And it's saying, you know what, most things are done. About 3/4 of the lab is done. Lab safety rules were followed. You've got to follow lab safety when we're in class. Things are mostly done, but it's just not quite there. A sad face is like, you've only got about like half of this done. And a 0 is like, this didn't even get done. So that's the really important part is when you're in my classes, I use this plus check minus sad face and 0. And that's what those grades correspond with is the 100, 90, and 80%. In science and in history, we're going to be using points rather than percentages. So most of our science assignments are going to be out of 5 points, and then tests are going to be out of more. So if you miss a homework assignment here or there, it's not like the complete end of the world, but if you're missing a lot of them, it's really going to impact you. Same with history is mostly going to be out of 2 points just of how we have things set up. And it's kind of the same thing. If you miss one here or there, it's not like end of the world, but if you're missing a lot of them, it's really going to impact you. So some of these other things in the keepers area here, virtual class expectations, these things are just going into, what do we expect when you're at school or at home every day? So attendance, you must be logged in and checking in with your first hour teacher, but by or before 8 a.m., however that looks for your first hour. And your teacher will let you know how to do this. Check Google Classroom for directions. When you're on a Google Meet, join by muting your microphone. Wear appropriate clothing. We had talked about this a little bit last week, and some people are like, can we wear pajamas? I don't know what your pajamas look like. I don't want to know what your pajamas look like. That is your business. But if you're in doubt, throw a hoodie on, okay? And then for the rest of the day, if you're not on a meet, honestly, you can wear whatever. I'm not your pajama police. I'm not your outfit police when you are at home. When you're in school, you're on a meet that is school-like, you do need to be ready and wearing appropriate school apparel. Wall behind you, make sure it's 100% school appropriate. If you look behind me, it's got like a bunch of shelves and a bunch of stuff, but it's all school appropriate things. You might want to put a door behind you if you do have a blank space of wall. Those would be good things. And then ask questions in the chat and use that for class-related information only, so please don't be having a conversation with your BFF. And then mute your microphone when you're done speaking. In class, check your classwork on Google Classroom daily for each class that you have on a given day. Pay attention to due dates and which assignment matches with which way of the day. Work completion, it's expected that you are doing an assignment each day, not just pretending to and just click the turn-in bucket or the turn-in button. It likely looks like one assignment per class. And just some helpful hints, your classes are graded on the regular grading scale this year. These are not just like pass, fail, or anything. This is actually going to be for a grade. Your attendance is based on your work completed. So if work's not completed, you're considered absent from class that day virtually. Email your teachers if and when you have questions. Put away any distractions that are going to distract you from being productive. Create a schedule. Stick to it. Recommended? Stick to the schedule you would have followed if you were in class. Use Google Classroom and the to-do list on your Google Classroom to help you stay on task. And if possible, try to find a workspace that's separate from your play space. I think those are the biggest things that I really wanted to go over. Our power standards, those are just like the things we must learn this year in each unit. But for the sake of the form, there's going to be a special word that you need. If you have me for science, that's going to be my name, Miss Roddick. So that's MS.MARATIK. There's your special word for science. Please let me know if you have any questions, and then I'll have this there for history as well. So for history, the special word is going to be, let's have some fun with this. We'll go Miss Zahner for history. So Mszeehner. Make sure if you do have me for history that you're going back and you're looking through the history syllabus, because it's a teeny bit different, but it's pretty much the same. Have a great day, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. Bye.